Some of the steps for utilizing Audacity. First, users can record directly in Audacity. They can use the microphone that's attached to their computer, or they can use a USB microphone just like our Blue Yetis. If they're using an external device, they need to make sure that they go to Audio Setup, Recording Device, and be sure that the USB microphone is selected. For this example, the Yeti microphone that's here. If they're just using their computer, it should default to the computer microphone. To record, they're just going to hit the red button that's over here, and as they're speaking, they should see some waveforms that are over here. If they do not see something, they need to make sure that the audio setup is correct. And to stop that, they're going to hit the black square that's here. And that'll give them a waveform. They can also record on an external device. Say they recorded into the podcasting studio, or they've recorded on their phone. They have an audio file somewhere else. They can go File, Import, Audio, and then they can bring in any type of audio from there. We'll throw in a quick example. So this is a podcasting kind of intro example. You can click anywhere and you can hit spacebar to play.
Where we talk about how students use.
So they're going to have a few key tools to utilize to edit. One is clipping, splitting clips and deleting them. You can click anywhere and your playhead will locate there. So let's say I want to get rid of this section that's here. I can click here at the beginning, right click, split clip, cuts it down the middle. It hasn't done anything with the audio file except put it into two different sections. I can also go to the end of this, right click, split clip. And then to delete this, to select any audio file, any part of it, you have to go up to the top where this blue section where it turns into a hand, click it, hit delete or backspace, and now this section is gone. I can also click that top portion and move something in, snapping it together, continuing my podcast. Another option is if you're wanting to keep the timing instead of losing this amount of seconds, I can click, hold, and drag. And now this is a selection. This tool up here that looks like a dumbbell is the silence audio selection. Now this is completely silent. So that waveform will be gone, keeps the timing. That's usually really good if there is like a cough, like say this is me hitting the table. I can get rid of that quite easily. There's also the inverse of that. So let's say I have an audio file or there's a segment of the audio file that I just want. It's very small. Let's say I just want this. I can select all of that. And here is the inverse, which is the trim audio outside selection. It gets rid of everything else that is there. Students will be adding their own music to their podcast within Audacity. Just a quick thing, I have told them about Pixabay. I guess that's not going to work. Pixabay is here. They're going to go to music or sound effects here. They can preview a piece of music. They can type in a particular mood or something. There are some filters that are across the top. Horror, piano, you can find something here, and then you can download it. Once you're in Audacity and you have that downloaded file, you're going to do what you've done before. File, import, audio, and then you'll find your downloaded file, and then it'll come in as a separate line. Most of them will do a little bit of intro music, so they're probably going to be able to select a small bit, get rid of everything else, start this at the beginning. They may want to fade in or fade out that particular bit of music. What they do with that is select that audio source, go to effects, fading, fade in, fade out, and then you'll start to see that this tapers down, and you can do the inverse for that. What they can do now is start layering things where the music is playing. Near the end where it's fading out, then they can begin speaking, and then it will fade completely out, and then it's their podcasting where they're talking in this particular audio file. One thing that they have to be aware is balancing. So maybe the sounds or the music that they put in is too loud in comparison to how loud they are talking. You can amplify something or you can decrease its volume depending on which way you want to go, but make sure that you have it selected. Go to effects, volume and compression, and amplify. Amplify does both. I can drag into the positive amplification, hit apply. You'll start to see that this is amplified. What you don't want are these high peaks where it goes beyond and it hits the top. You want everything to kind of stay contained within the bar, so that may not be the correct amplification. You might want to go a little bit less than that. And again, you can also go lower into the negative range, hit apply, and you can make it quieter. So that's how you make things louder and how you make them quieter. Last thing is exporting. So they may have music here, audio, music. They may only have one block of music and then just straight audio of them talking, and then some exit music, whatever. They can also have this with multiple audio files. So if they record in the podcasting studio, it divides it up by each microphone so they can edit each person's voice. So they may have more than 2 of these audio inputs, and that's perfectly fine. But when they're done with their audio and editing, they would go to File, Export Audio, export to their computer. They can title it here. They just need to make sure that it downloads as an MP3. A WAV file still works, and I think most people are submitting this into Blackboard. They can submit a WAV file into Blackboard, but just to be safe, they can download it as an MP3 file and then export it. They don't need to do any of this extra stuff that's at the bottom. It's set out perfectly for them.